Good evening, I'm Dan Rather, and tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
Well, President Trump announcing two new luxury visa programs, a gold card and a platinum card. The gold card will cost $1 million for individuals and $2 million for companies. It will allow foreign nationals to get U.S. residency, quote, in record time. And the $2 million corporate card is transferable from one employee to another. Now, the platinum card is going to cost $5 million and will allow foreign nationals to spend 270 days in the U.S. without paying taxes on their overseas income. Now, currently, of course, we all know that U.S. citizens and residents have to pay taxes on their U.S. and their foreign income. Foreigners who are here for more than 183 days during a 3-year period that uses a special IRS formula. They, too, are currently subject to tax on overseas income. The Platinum Card, however, will extend that time period to about 9 months. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying that the new $100,000 H-1B fee, Gold Card, Platinum Card, all expected to generate $100 billion in revenue. That's going to be used to lower taxes and pay down debt. Now, the Gold Card will replace the EB-1 and EB-2 programs. We have yet to hear, initially they said this would replace the EB-5 program, which is very popular and costs $1 million and requires you to create at least 10 jobs. But if people can pay the same amount and not have a job requirement, which is what the Gold Card is, that will be a lot more attractive.
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
President Trump kicking off another busy week at the White House.
It has been yet another eventful week in Washington.
The activity level is off the charts. The president dialed in. He is executing his agenda at a lightning fast pace. Here's something we rarely see in American politics. President Trump is actually keeping his campaign promises, and he's doing them as quickly as possible.
This administration's moving at political light speed, and they're just getting started.
We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
Goodbye. We love you.
We will be back in some form. Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's official. Former President Donald Trump will be running for president again in 2024.
Donald Trump got the stamina and the will to do this again? He's come under such tremendous...
Everything is on the line in this election.
A busy day in the campaign world up in Butler today. Former President Trump holding a rally at 5 o'clock.
He just tried to kill President Trump.
Not even an assassin.
If we're not careful, AI could make it impossible to distinguish truth from fiction in the news we consume.
So, Keisha, what's a high-value man to you?
A man that gave me 10 kids, 3 evictions, $10 on Cash App, and still pull up in a Nissan Altima that sound like he got...
Good evening, I'm Tom Tucker with some breaking news. A local kidnapping has rocked Quahog tonight. Rocked Quahog? Really? The whole town is... the family, maybe, is rocked, but the whole... All right, well, in any event, we now go live to Asian reporter Tricia Takanawa. Let's see how much she's rocked by all this. Tricia?
Tom, I'm standing here with Mayor Adam West with the latest information about the disappearance of young Scotty Jennings. What can you tell us, Mr. Mayor?
Please, Mr. Mayor is my father. Call me John Mayor. Your body is a wonderland, by the way.
What is the city doing to help rescue the missing boy?
Well, we're looking for this child using all the latest technology, including the newest, most advanced multimedia milk cartons.
Help me, I'm missing! Help! Why are you still eating breakfast? I'm kidnapped! Why are you turning me the other way? I'm still here!
Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Welcome to the Black News Network. I'm your host, OG Dimebag Slime. Tonight's story, a gender reveal turns violent when local Bloods open fire on the party after blue confetti is released. Chaos erupted at the Glockton's backyard gender reveal when the cannon popped blue, indicating a baby boy. The husband's side of the family, all Bloods, immediately sprung into action by lighting that bitch up. During the scuffle, some of the confetti floated into a neighboring yard, causing additional shots to be popped off in that direction. Fortunately, no Henny was spilled during the ordeal.
One of trying to make it to work without yelling at a pedestrian. Pray for me, y'all. Still alive, still unemployed, but baby, I look G-O-D doing it. Oh my God, I'm not even late, I'm just dramatic. Y'all know I will risk it all for a good melon. We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania.
This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses.
A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of dong load. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a gizzard has left downtown streets.
Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping.
A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts.
The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the Big Beautiful Bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles.
because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad. Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claimed she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Bangher. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation. Miss Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN. HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bangher has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
WHR, would y'all let me fly the plane to Iran? I thought B2 was my apartment number. Oh my God, did I just start the war?
Introducing ChatEBT, the newest AI software limited only to 13% of people. ChatEBT isn't just another basic AI myth. It's built for real-life situations. Let's showcase an example of a man asking for food recommendations.
I'm starving, gang. Let's open ChatEBT. What should I eat tonight?
ChatEBT is fully aligned with real-time data, giving you the most accurate, up-to-date definitions anywhere.
Define child support.
Unless you ask it to define child support. But ChatGPT isn't just about words or recommendations now. It helps with your everyday tasks and repairs, giving you the best solutions in real time. Here's an example.
Dude, this thing is so annoying, man. ChatGPT, how do I fix this?
You don't, man. Thank you all for your time today. We're excited for you to experience the future with ChatGPT. We'll see you soon.
1, 2, 1, 2. All right, let's go. Let's go. Do some damn news. Let's do some news. What up, chat? Yo, salute no news. Kwame Kaiju, Quiet Storm, Theo in the building. You know, I gotta give you a drop every time you walk in. What up, Theo? I'm like the 11 o'clock news these days.
Off by a star.
Here, I got a new drop for you, Theo. How
I
about
don't even
this?
think they call me Godfather. Instead, you come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you ask me to do murder.
Mad liberator, death operator, rock the data, amazing flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well be the Godfather, Theo, the way it's all going down, right? He said Cash App it is then? Wait, I'm muted? You can't hear me? Yo, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. You can't hear me? My mic look good. All my levels is popping. All right, man, let's get started with some lefties losing it. Saw girl Rita over in Australia at Sky News. All right, yeah, you can't hear me. All right, yeah, that's what I thought. My levels look good. All right, let's do a quick lefties losing it. I always like starting the block off with
It's
these.
time for Lefties Losing It. Let's hear from Angelina Jolie, who seems to be suffering from a severe case of TDS. Apparently, she doesn't even recognize her own country. Maybe get out of that bubble, love.
I love my country, and but I don't at this time recognize my country.
Didn't she turn one of her kids trans?
And I think that's, but I've always lived internationally. My family's international. My friends, my life, my worldview is equal, united, international. So anything, anywhere.
You could always give up your citizenship. No fuss, no muss. It's a shame, Angelina Jolie. She used to be hot.
That divides or, of course, limits personal expressions and freedoms and from anyone, I think is very dangerous.
Oh, you know what that nonsense is.
Very dangerous. Didn't somebody just get popped over expressing their free speech? Yo, it's clown world out here, guys. Keep your head on a swivel.
About it's the whole Jimmy Kimmel saga, but I don't recall Angelina Jolie or any other Hollywood blowhard saying anything when Roseanne was cancelled from her own show, or Gina Carano, a fellow actress, who made a very mainstream comment and saw her career destroyed, or when conservatives from all walks of life have been silenced. But suddenly Angelina and the rest of Hollywood are concerned about free speech. You know, the very same folks irate about Jimmy Kimmel's little suspension, all those Democrats and commentators. And let's not forget, he was suspended for lying on air and refusing to apologize. The same people irate about that and who suddenly care about the First Amendment were not too concerned when it was their ideological opponents being silenced and deplatformed from the president down. You think we've forgotten this?
Shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, especially around our democracy.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged, is something that would be a better deterrent.
If people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block It's really hard to govern today.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
You gotta love the internet. Receipts upon receipts upon receipts, and that's what I've been saying. The mainstream media have been running the same play for decades because they were the only media outlet. Like, you can't expect them to pull their own receipts on themselves. But that's why they're losing. Now they do these crazy segments, they do these crazy takes, and then the internet goes back up and digs up everything with them saying it contradictory. Internet is undefeated, Playboy. This entire 8 panel of Democrat liberals, they get the gong face. Give it to them one more time.
Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. There are limits, and that's important. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
When you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. I believe that when it comes to broadcast television, like...
All right. So, yeah, they brought this up yesterday. And yeah, AOC is a bit of a moron. She's got 3 years. If nothing else happens, if no one pops up for the Democratic Party leading up to 2028, I'm trying to tell you, they could spend 3 years putting money behind her trying to groom her. She could read a teleprompter. She's fairly attractive. She's fiery. She could stick to a script better than Kamala. We're actually going to... Kamala came out and just did a series of press runs for her book. And we got a clip of her, I believe, on The View. And she is still terrible. I forgot who brought it up yesterday in one of the news segments, but I thought about it while they were talking. And I was like, the right handlers, 3 years of prep. I mean, bro, she can't be any worse than Kamala. You know what I'm saying? Lord of Brooklyn said AOC versus Madam Vice President Harris for the... Oh, all right, there you go. For the Democratic presidential nomination in 2027, I think Kamala is going to be an albatross around her neck. He said she's becoming a torta. They said, what a waste of good looks in AOC. Good thing Tulsi. Good thing Tulsi is in my bedroom. Yo, I gotta give you this job. Man, let's go.
Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air, what isn't.
Well, my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways.
And thanks to Tom Elliott for that compilation. And here's another hypocrite to add to the list, The View's Sunny Hostin. She was all for Roseanne being axed, but Jimmy Kimmel is apparently beyond reproach.
Our founders drafted the First Amendment specifically to protect the rights of citizens to criticize the government. When you cross that kind of societal norm, you must pay the consequence. And firing her was the right thing to do. I'm thrilled that ABC did it.
Let's check in with Rachel Maddow, MSNBC anchor Rachel Maddow. And here she is doing a free ad for Antifa and any other leftist group wanting to protest the Trump administration.
You may have already heard this, but the organizers of the No Kings rallies, remember the No Kings rallies that happened back in June, those huge protests in June that attracted more than 5 million people across the country. Organizers from the No Kings events that happened back then have just now announced the date for the next No Kings demonstrations. They're going to be October 18th. So that's going to be no threat.
She meant to say they're going to be funded by Soros. That's what she meant to say. Yeah, receipts, bro. They can't keep pulling this. They hired some designers. They got the crown in it to look like the Basquiat, the Jean-Michel Basquiat crown. Yo, these protests brought to you by corporate sponsors. Gotta love it.
No crowns, no kings. Saturday, October 18th. That's about 6 weeks from now.
Did you get that? Is it in your diary yet? Don't miss out. Rachel needs you out there.
Yeah, that's a fact, no news. Sonny called us crazy up for backing Trump, and BWs should black men go to the polls and vote for Kamala. I will not forget that. That didn't age well, by the way.
And the ad went on and on. Listen.
Indivisible organizer Ezra Levin did an interview about it with Rolling Stone today, in which he told Rolling Stone that there isn't a single large flagship event they want everybody to travel to on October 18th. Instead, they just want protests everywhere.
That's what passes for news reporting on MSNBC. And talking about protests, have a look at these lefties losing it, trying to behead a Trump effigy. Granny has lost her marbles.
This is what I'm saying. How about how all these protests are manufactured? It's all these old goofy boomers with nothing to do but collect Social Security out here, or the paid protesters they got out there, and a bunch of blue hairs and furries and teas and all. It's not a real organic. These aren't real organic protests to these policies. These are corporate NGO funded and backed. Yo, the social engineering is off the chart.
These are the people we need to unify with.
Yo, Granny gonna throw out her hip doing all that. Yo, Theo with the furries, man.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord. Let's be nice. Let's be nice.
Yo, last night's little news desk was epic, bro. I didn't expect Old Boy's news segment to go that far in, but yo, it was right on time and right up the alley, bro. Wait, you had one before that too. Brooklyn says prediction 2027 Democratic presidential campaign, Black v. Brown. Madam Vice President Harris will blame everything on Biden and his handlers, which she's currently doing, by the way. And AOC will get the donor money. Black women will riot. You know what? You might be onto something there. You might be onto something now. I would actually log on the cow sheet and place my bet, place a couple dollars on one of those things, because you can bet on politics on cow sheet. Brooklyn says both the Black and Latino wing will unite against Governor Newsom under the No More White Guys banner. It will be a conflagration of the old guard tries to hold on, and AOC leads the progressives. You actually might be on to something with that as well. No News said, bro, I looked into the furry shades of gay thing. Yeah, it's a real video game. Yo, man, like Coach Greg Adams would say, man, send a comment, send the asterisk. Man, send the asteroid, bro.
No, thank you. Now, here is one way to stop protesters from being pests. Here are some trans activists trying to disrupt a Turning Point event being drowned out by chants of USA. Fun.
USA! USA!
Now, let's go back to The View for another meltdown, this time courtesy of Anna Navarro, who's having paranoid fantasies about Trump coming to get her.
This is what dictators and authoritarians do. It does not matter the ideology. At first, they come for the people with big platforms. Mm-hmm. At first, they silence the press, but then they come for all of us because their intent is to scare us into silence and self-censorship. And look at the things that this government...
Jeez Louise, is it me or is anybody just tired of hearing these XX chromosome creatures talking all the time? It's just unhinged babble. They are single-handedly contributing to mental illness. Lord Lusmith said if Pam Bondi wasn't such a rhino, those organizations would fund these so-called that processes would be hit with RICO and terrorism charges. I believe they are working on that, but I'm with you as well. I know Trump's only been in like a little over the year, but Pam Bondi got everyone's in agreement, man. She got to lock somebody up, bro. She got to lock somebody up. Verse Sigma, a man recently got mauled by wolves. He was in a wolf suit. Oh, you trying to tell me we had some furry action go wrong? Is that what you telling me, Red?
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
My nigga.
Man, that's wild.
has done. They kicked the AP out of the Oval Office for not saying Gulf of America. They cut the funding of NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Yes, they did that, Anna, because those organisations were not news sites but leftist propaganda outfits, and they're free to exist, but they do not deserve taxpayer funds. They're not entitled to funding from the US government, but Anna wasn't done yet. The meltdown continues.
And I will say to you all, to all of us, look, we have seen tech titans go into the Oval Office. We are seeing media moguls, publishers of newspapers. We are seeing all of them try to make the peace with Donald Trump. A bully always comes back for more. So they need to stand up, and we need to demand the same from ourselves.
No News said the furry rabbit hole gets weird, no pun intended. Yeah. The furries with guns on Reddit. Yeah, bro, that's what old boy was talking about last night. Like, things just got real weird in the U.S., bruh. Like, I've been making my case for the last week and a half. I think last night, I summed it up in terms of making my case, because even the newscast reporting on it got weird, bro. Like, you guys can have at it jumping in front of this shit. It's off the charts. You feel me? Let's do. Hold on, what do I got here? I got a bunch of segments lined up. Let's do. I think I wanted to cover Hegseth kicking some of the people, some of the press corps out of the Pentagon, but let's get right up. You know what? While we talking about furries, let's knock this dude out the way real quick. This is the guy, Ryan Ruth, attempted to take himself out after he was found guilty, and this is the second guy. That's the guy that they caught on the golf court, court, trying to take Trump out during the initial phases of his presidential run. So let's listen to this. Old boy got found guilty, I believe in the last 24 hours, and he tried to check himself out. No pun intended.
Okay, we're getting some breaking news here. I'm going to go back to Aaron right now. I'm being told that Ryan Ruth tried to stab himself, or did stab himself, in court right after the verdict was read. I'm going to go back to Aaron Gilchrist. Aaron, let us know what you know, and I know this is sort of a fluid situation. We're just getting this information now.
It is, Tom. We have several producers in the courthouse here trying to get eyes on exactly what's going on. I'm told that Ryan Ruth tried to kill himself in the courtroom with a pen, that he tried to stab himself in the neck, and that's why his daughter started screaming. She was screaming during the verdict. She was screaming, "Dad, don't do anything. Dad, I'm going to get you out." She started cursing, apparently, at the judge in the middle of the courtroom as all of this was happening. Again, we can point out that Ryan Ruth was representing himself. I was in the courtroom during the entire closing arguments earlier today. Ryan Ruth seated at a table by himself with a big stack of documents, presumably with pens or pencils as well at that point. And so it seems as though as this day was wrapping up, he was able to grab a pen and try to stab himself in the neck with that pen, as I'm being told by our producers who were in the courthouse as the verdict was being read here. He, of course, marshals in the room tried quickly to restrain him. He was struggling against the marshals in there, and ultimately they were able to drag him out of the courtroom. A dramatic culmination, Tom, to a trial here that we know at different points was something that was frustrating for the judge. Today, during Ruth's closing arguments, I heard the prosecutors object at least half a dozen times. The judge interjected during his closing arguments several times to stop him from saying things that he was not supposed to say, to redirect him to make sure that he was only discussing evidence that had been presented to this jury, admonishing him, and at one point telling him that he
Well, news said he got hit with some major charges, some of which I've never seen. I'm going to have to, at one point, maybe even tomorrow, read the charge. And Storm says, yeah, you might be right. He said, nah, dog, you getting the needle. You know they still talking about possible firing squad for old boy in Utah. That's old school.
he needed to stick to the subject matter at hand and not try to introduce evidence that had already been ruled inadmissible in some cases, or reference other laws that were not a part of the jury instructions in this case. And now we have this word, Tom, that there's been this dramatic moment in the courtroom where the suspect, the defendant here, in representing himself and hearing the verdict that was 5 counts guilty against him, he tried to take his own life with a pen in the courtroom, trying to stab himself in the neck, Tom.
Aaron, you said you were in the courtroom for those closing arguments. Walk our viewers through exactly how he would have been able to do this. I know you laid out a little bit of what you remember. Some of the sketches that we're seeing from inside court show him shackled up. I don't know if they're handcuffs. I don't know if he's shackled to the chair, what that is. This is the image that I was talking about right here. We put up for our viewers one of the sketches. Right. How far are the marshals from this table? So basically what I'm getting at is how much time would he had to grab that pen, stab himself in the neck before they got to him?
So I think the sketch that you were seeing with him in shackles was from earlier on in the proceedings here. Today, he was not shackled. The judge did not want the jury to see him in a prison uniform. He was wearing a suit and tie in front of the jury today, as has been the case throughout the course of the trial that lasted about 8 days with testimony, 9 if you count today with the closing arguments. And in terms of the room layout, Ruth was seated at a large table by himself. His standby counsel, the lawyers, the public defenders who were supposed to represent him, was seated at a little table just a few feet away from the table where he was sitting. Prosecutors on the other side of the room. There were U.S. Marshals and the court security in the room during this moment. And so it would have been really just a few seconds that it would have taken for court officers to be able to grab Ruth. At this point, we don't believe that he was able to injure.
Man, you trying to take yourself out in the middle of the courtroom? That's when you officially know you have effed up. That's when you officially know you have effed around and you have found out.
For himself with that pen, even though he did sort of put it at his neck and try to stab himself with that pen. I'm told that there were a few stabbing gestures that were made in that moment, but none that were successful. And at this point, it seems as though order has been restored in the room, Tom. The U.S. Marshals have been able to remove Ryan Ruth from the courthouse.
Aaron, do we know if the jurors witnessed that as well?
Did the jurors see that? Yes. This was in front of the jury. The
Yeah. Boy had to look off camera and check. Yo, did they see that? Oh no, did they see that? Oh no, I'm just reading off my notes. Did the jurors see that? That's funny as hell.
The judge was still reading the verdict and talking in the moments after this happened. And so the jury would have seen this, as well as Ryan Ruth's family. We know that his daughter and his son were in the courtroom. We believe there was one other relative in the courtroom as well, sitting on his side in the back row. There were just two rows in the gallery, if you will. And those three people were seated in the corner nearest to the side of the room where Ryan Ruth was seated. And as I said, Tom, it's being reinforced to me that she yelled out, the daughter yelled out as this was starting to unfold, "Dad, don't do it." And so obviously this dramatic moment in the courtroom here, not the ending that we would have expected or predicted, Tom.
Yeah, Aaron, I know you're still gathering some information. You're talking to your producer there. We're going to come right back to you as soon as you have new information. I do want to walk through those moments, those dramatic moments inside that courthouse now with our panel here, Misty Maris and, of course, Tom Winter. Misty, I guess my question to you, my larger question is, should he have had some type of restraints on him, number one? Number two, how does this impact that judge in sentencing?
Yo, you see what he did there? My man trying to be funny. He said my larger question. We run that back. You hear what he did?
It's on him, number one. Number two, how does this impact those dramatic moments inside that courthouse now with our panel here, Misty Maris and, of course, Tom Winter? Misty, I guess my question to you, my larger question is, should he have had...
You see what he did? My larger question. No pun intended.
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord. Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there.
Some type of restraints
I mean, you're not
on him, number
wrong,
one. Number
but
two,
you didn't have to
how
say
does this
it.
impact that judge in sentencing now having witnessed this?
Yeah, this is a dramatic twist in this case. So the judge has discretion about how to run that courtroom, how to keep him safe, as well as everybody else in that courtroom safe, and has to balance that against his rights as a criminal defendant and potential prejudice that could be imputed to him by seeing him in shackles during the course of that closing argument.
Bingo. There you go, No News. Bingo. You notice all the major cases against the BM took a backseat to these white liberals. I don't remember another time. Bro, that's what I'm talking about, that this has happened. Exactly. I've been repeatedly saying this is the first time in recent history in a very long time where the black man is not getting the full bearing and weight and brunt of the federal government breathing down their neck. They are devoting all their attention, time, and resources to this. And like y'all got main character syndrome. Y'all sitting on the sideline, waving them in, yelling and spitting and throwing things at them, being like, no, over here, pay attention to us. You're going to get the type of attention. You're going to get the attention, but it ain't going to be the type of attention you want.
So she's weighing all of those factors, ultimately concluding that there presumably wasn't a known safety risk and allowing him to proceed in that way. Now, of course, this incident calling that into question, it certainly will impact sentencing. Remember, in order to represent yourself and in order to be a defendant in a courtroom, you have to be legally competent. That means you understand the nature of the charges against you and you can participate in your own defense. That relates to this phase of the trial. Now we're going into the penalty phase. And when you have issues like mental health concerns, suicidal ideations to the extent that that's part of it, an attempted suicide. Those are all factors that could be at issue when you're talking about mitigating factors that will be presented, and whether or not the representation can continue as is. Remember, the beginning of this case, he went through multiple competency hearings, was determined that it is constitutional right to represent himself, go forward. He has lawyers who were there for procedural purposes only, could not comment on those substantive issues. But when you're talking about a sentencing proceeding and this happening at the end, all of that is going to be called into question.
Guilty on all counts. Max term is life in prison is what he's looking at right now?
Yes, max term life without possibility of parole.
We thank you for watching, and remember...
That's a hurt piece. That's a hurt piece. Oh, the lefties really taking L's out here. Steady taking L's. I tell you, taking L's. Let's do Kamala. Kamala been doing her book tour. She dropped by The View and Rachel Maddow, etc., etc. And if any of you have seen these interviews, they are cringe AF, bro. She's got some type of weird social anxiety type disorder, because she be coming off and sounding unhinged. I don't know how much of that's alcohol, but geez, we dodged a bullet with this one, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Vice President Kamala Harris is on a massive media blitz today promoting her book that just dropped. Many critics are comparing it to a Mean Girls burn book. She spares no one, taking aim at friends, fellow Democrats, and even her former boss, former President Joe Biden. She called President Biden's decision to seek re-election recklessness. Quote, "The stakes were simply too high." And then Kamala Harris also addressed major criticism of Biden's decline while in office, admitting at 81, Joe got tired. That's when his age showed in physical and verbal stumbles. Here's how she tried to answer for all of it just this morning.
Do you regret not voicing your opinion in that moment?
Yes, and I actually have reflected on that, and I've written about that. I realized.
Would it have mattered if you did?
I don't know. Was that?
Oh, she definitely got to get what it is.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Grace to not bring it up to him, or was it reckless? And on my part, I do reflect on that and feel that there was a recklessness about not raising it with him. I talk about what was going through my head, right? And what was going through my head to not bring it up was that it would come off as being very self-serving and therefore maybe lack the credibility that it deserved. But I do think about it.
Okay, flashback to this. Kamala Harris repeatedly defending Joe Biden's fitness for office.
Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine.
I just don't understand about this age thing with Joe Biden, President Biden.
Let's not get distracted. Let's look at whether we have a president who has actually produced and followed through on his commitments. Joe Biden has done that. That's the measure of the man, not what's on his birth certificate in terms of his age.
Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong.
Kamala Harris also.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Called out some high-profile Democrat friends for slow-rolling their endorsements, according to the book. And again, this is her book. This is where she's saying all this. I know she's on kind of a let me set it straight tour right now, but I think we know what she said. Former President Barack Obama said he's not going to put a finger on the scale right now. That's what she said about him. She needed him. And that's what she said. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, quote, "We should have some kind of primary, not an anointment." Now, I remember when Nancy Pelosi said that. Apparently, Kamala Harris will never forget it. And Governor Newsom of California, in a text, said apparently hiking We'll call you back. And he never returned her phone call. It's worth noting Newsom did endorse Kamala Harris shortly after, but that's not in the book. Selective truth. Power panel now. David Avella, GoPac chairman. Megan Hayes, former Biden director of message planning. Glad you're here. There's a lot of messaging about your former boss and this former VP. What do you make of when she says about the former president that it was recklessness, leaving it to just an individual's decision? Well, him and Jill Biden.
I think she's entitled to her perspective, right? Everyone else has been writing books.
But she's not entitled to her own truth. So, Megan, when she says that it was reckless based on what she was witnessing, and then she was also out publicly defending him, those are oppositional. Those two things actually can't exist.
So I just don't think that the book is accomplishing what she thinks it wants to accomplish. I think people, when they are going to look at for candidates for 2028, are going to look for people who are leaders, who can speak truth to power. And I'm not sure that parts of this book are really helpful to her. I think having sort of finger pointing at other Democrats also is not helpful, saying you're not going to pick someone because they're gay. That's not really part of the Democratic messaging. So there's a lot of things in this book that are questionable, but I really do wish to be using her megaphone to be fighting back against Trump and his economic policies that are not good for Democrats.
She hit him in a bit, and we'll get into that. But her megaphone right now is for those people on our screen. But I want to hit what you just did, and then David, I'll come to you on this. So Kamala Harris's book has her snubbing Pete Buttigieg as her vice presidential pick, saying that Buttigieg would have been an ideal partner if he were a straight white man. That's what she said. And then she said, but we were already asking a lot of America to accept a black woman married to a Jewish man. It was too big of a risk. Here's how she attempted to defend that statement.
To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No, that's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is to be a black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate. He is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is to be a black woman running.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
For president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
Okay, check out all of the media reaction on socials last night. One user said, somewhere in that word salad, she admits the reason was because he was gay. Another, so Kamala Harris discriminated against Pete Buttigieg on the basis of his sexual orientation? Got it. And political commentator Scott Jennings with this logic is incoherent. Voters made the right choice. David.
You know, if we all have 15 minutes of fame, Vice President Harris is at 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh,
It is exit stage left here shortly for the former vice president. You know, what she ultimately, no matter how many words she used, she ultimately said she thinks Americans are prejudiced. And they would not vote for her because she was a black woman, or they wouldn't vote for Pete Buttigieg because he was a gay man, and they certainly wouldn't vote for the two of them if they were together. That's what she ultimately thinks of Americans' attitudes. The other thing I think you have to question her judgment, that one of the parts of this book are that the president called her right before and talked all about himself, and she was very upset by that. Now that you have to question her decision-making. She knows he is now no longer mentally as strong as he once was. She knows he's a terrible debater. The last person she's going to take a call from is Joe Biden.
Wow. Yeah, that's strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to this. Kamala Harris also took a shot at President Donald Trump.
I always believed that if push came to shove, those titans of industry would be guardrails for our democracy, one by one by one.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
They have been silent. They have been, yes, I use the word feckless. Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. At some point,
Fuck. StreamYard just up and muted me on his dolo. No, I was saying is yeah, Harris talking in these circles like this and like wearing out this these liberal talking points, fascist. It's the same thing that I kept making this argument that we're going to wear out the race arguments are going to wear out, and that's not to but is it low? That's StreamYard doing that shit to me. My shit's turned all the way up. Not that things aren't inherently racist, or that there aren't even some sort of systematic things here in place here and there, but I've made the argument for a year plus. If everything's racist, eventually nothing is racist, and that's like kind of where we're at now, and especially post Charlie Kirk. Like none of those arguments are going to stick anymore. It's the same thing they're doing with these hyperbolic liberal talking points. Even most of the general public are almost immune to them now. Ever said the ladies wasted off that Russian good stuff?
they've got to stand up against a tyrant who is using the federal government to execute his whim and fancy because of a fragile ego.
You see what she's doing with her hand? See that? She's had some coaching. Somebody's been working on her. And then has she done her cackle laugh yet? But that new thing with the hand to provide emphasis and make her look fill up the camera more and make her look more commanding. Someone's been coaching her with that.
Go.
Where is the salad dressing? But it's clear she hates Trump, David.
It is.
She said, "Where is?" She said, "Where is the salad dressing, bro?" What was our shit for her word count? Yeah. She's less sounding like someone who's trying to fill the word count now. She's had some coaching, but it's still definitely salad.
I'm keeping a list here. Let's see. Immigration was going to destroy the country. Tariffs were going to destroy the country. The one big beautiful bill was going to destroy the country. All things proven wrong.
Bro, there he goes. He's actually making my point right there. That the whole destroy the country line. Like, yeah, bro, it's not the flex that they think it is. And like what happens is people become immune to it.
We've missed a few things, but Megan can help me fill out my list. But all things she predicted.
She's a Democrat. She might not want to do that.
To be fair, Trump is upside down in polling in every single one of those issues. So she's not wrong with the.
Oh, yeah, that's who it was. It was Osmond. It was Osmond with the word count, Judd. He was like, yeah. Like someone who had a word count and they're just trying to fill the way. That was Osmond.
American people view and how they view Donald Trump. I'm just not sure that this book was the best place to do it. She should be out there supporting other Democrats who are actually in the fight to get some of these issues more favorably for Democrats.
Do you want to take that?
She also just endorsed the socialist mayor of New York City.
Yeah, there's that. Would you like to take that?
It wasn't a super strong endorsement, but I do think her point is what works in New York doesn't necessarily work in others, and she was trying to lift up some other mayors there. But I also think that this is where the Democrats have gone wrong, right? They've now she's played into identity politics, which the rest of the country is saying that didn't work for us. Why are you now playing into it?
I think it's worse than that, though. She played into isms.
That's right.
She talked about race. She talked about women. She talked about gay men, right? And she mentioned Jewish, which made me immediately think of Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania's governor, who just mysteriously did not get chosen. And I would want to ask her now, why did you pick those categories, and who were you specifically talking about? Yeah.
Go ahead. Pick Pritzker because he weighs a lot of money. Weighs a lot. I mean, go down the list, right?
Wow.
Another list you can have.
All right. Thank you both.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered.
All right, bet. Let's do what do we got? Do I want to do Rubio? Let me see. Is this pulling up? I got Rubio, Brian Max. Oh no, let's do I didn't know this. I actually want to see this. I didn't know that they got these some false charges against Tom Homan. Bro, the left is pulling out all these stops. They trying to frame Homan for local, let me see, what's this say? This one, I got this one. Local action real soon. Homan fires back after bribery hit piece. This flew under the radar. I didn't even hear anything about this. They're really trying to put a bribery false charge on Homan. That's the worst person to do that to. Homan's like old school, like 1970s, like hard-nosed police guy.
Phased by Newsom's threats, writing on X, to be clear, we will not comply with Gavin Newsom's unconstitutional mask ban. Trump orders are Tom Homan. Sir, I mean, it just is so dumb. How about they worry about getting actual criminals off the street?
You're exactly right. So the answer to what are you afraid of? We're afraid of politicians like him, who's compared ICE to terrorists and Nazis and just horrible names, which gives that fraction on the left, not everybody, but that percentage on the left, it empowers them to attack ICE. Attacks up over 1,000%. The reason I wear a mask is not only the agents being doxxed over social media, their families are. And I understand they need to protect their families. And look, I got numerous death threats myself. I don't wear a mask because I don't care. I'm the voters that are come at me. Yeah. But the bottom line is they're trying to protect their families, and you said it. Meanwhile, where's the law that unmask Antifa or the protesters that throw Molotov cocktails or rocks at the vehicles? Where's the legislation for that? So as far as the state legislation, I'm not a lawyer. I leave it up to the Department of Justice. We'll see how that fares with federal law always trumps state law.
100%. And your federal officers too. Is like, I'm interested to see how he's going to try to enforce this one. But as these immigration crackdowns, obviously are escalating, in order to keep our city safe, I might add, Chicago protesters storming this ICE facility, okay? They think they can interfere and they think they're justified. There's like, they now have congressional candidates out there getting body slammed. They say, oh, I'm a victim. It's like, well, don't stand in the way of a federal vehicle while they're doing their job.
You're exactly right. And President Trump said weeks ago, zero tolerance. If you put a hand on an ICE officer or impede his efforts of enforcing the law, you will be prosecuted federally. And Pam Bonnie's assured us that they will take these prosecutions and go at it hard. I mean, President Trump called me one day, and when he saw stones being thrown on our vehicles, he says they throw a stone, they go to jail. They cross the line, they go to jail. They spit on them, they go to jail. This is zero tolerance. And if people are angry at what ICE are doing, then why don't you go protest Congress? Because ICE is enforcing laws that Congress enacted. They're not making this up.
But they need somebody to be mad at. All right, sir, I have to ask you this. MSNBC and a lot of other Dems are piling on this, that you allegedly took a $50,000 bribe from an FBI undercover agent. Trump, obviously closed this investigation. A Justice Department appointee called the Deep State probe earlier this year. Caroline Leavitt, obviously also coming to your defense. Roll this.
Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters.
So, sir, what is the story with this, and where did it come from?
Well, look, as the Justice Department said, I did nothing criminal, I did nothing illegal, I did nothing wrong. And this is a series of hits against me since the beginning of the year. There's been hit pieces about every week. There was a hit piece on my security detail saying I had 31 security detail. I'm wasting millions of dollars. I had about a quarter of that. I think I had 8 security detail at the time. I had a 4-car caravan. I had 2. Another story about I'm helping certain companies with their contracts. Here's what people need to understand. Day one of the administration, when President Trump asked me to come back and we entered on duty, I met with ethics attorneys. And by law, you're supposed to recuse yourself from any company you had affiliations with before. But I took it a step further. I recused myself from all federal contracts. I won't have any decision making in any federal contract, but people, including this recent case, people are saying, I'm going to line the pockets of people. I signed that declaration. I do not make decisions in any federal contracts. And just so people know, I make about 18% of what I've made in my company to come back and serve my nation. So my family's taken a sacrifice. I've taken a sacrifice. I'm back here doing the right thing. The hit pieces keep coming, but I know who's chumming the water. I know who keeps throwing this information out, and the media jumps all over it. And they're going to see some legal actions real soon. I'm working with the legal team. I'm done with it. They can attack me all they want, but we're going to take action.
Yeah, I don't know what these people think, that they're just going to poke the bear and people like you aren't going to level the playing field afterward. Mr. Tom Homan, keep up.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything about these false accusations against Holman. Like I said, Holman reminds me like you guys remember McGruff the crime dog? That's going way back. But this nigga does look like McGruff. Does look like McGruff the crime dog. I remember the stuffed animal crime dog came to our school, the auditorium. Yo, shout out to Quiet Storm for the Cash App, man. Don't let that brother be alone. Shout out to
I don't even think they call me Godfather. Instead, you come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you ask me to do murder.
Mad liberator, death operator, rock the
let's go. This is Eaton their data analyst over at CNN, going over some poll numbers, and this one's important. We usually do Mark over at Rasmussen and a couple of our other guys. Eaton over at CNN isn't too bad. You guys know Mark is a data and polling snob. So he always looks at Eaton's crosstabs and he wants to know where his source polling comes from when he pulls his data models together. So That being said, what we got? Earth said, there's the coming after they're coming after Patriots. Pushback. Folks better pay attention. Yeah, he does look like McGruff. Yeah, with the trench coat swag, exactly. This one, but I'm gonna go over this one actually, because this one's important, and it's only important because two things. One, what the numbers say, but number two, it's CNN, so we know that they are not in any way amenable to Trump. And then two, also because his source polling data comes from the Washington Post, which is ultra liberal also, and not pro-Trump. So when you see these numbers in favor of the Republican Party and the MAGA agenda in general, you know that these numbers are accurate because these are from two places that are not friendly to the administration. So let's go.
While President Trump's approval rating remains underwater, a new poll shows that most Americans, though, still trust Republicans over Democrats and handling some major issues. Rather. CNN's Harry Enton. Mary depends on your perspective, I guess.
I am not married.
I said Mary as in happy. Anyway, let's talk about this. What do you think?
Yeah, what are we seeing? Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats saying, oh, this guarantees us we're going to fly high in the midterms. Let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime? A big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans. Look at that, lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this: at this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues: the economy, immigration, and crime.
Give some context on this. Compare this when Republicans last took the House.
Yeah, let's compare it back to 2022. I think this kind of gives away the game right here. Okay, the GOP is more trusted than the Dems on the economy. It was 12 points in 2022. Slight decline in that lead, but still 7 points. How about immigration? It was Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at this. The Republican lead's actually gone up by 10 points. What are you doing, Democrats? My goodness gracious. And on crime, the Republicans were up by 13, and now they're up by 22. The lead again expanding by nearly double digits. So whatever Democrats are doing, it ain't working, Kate. It ain't working. Republicans have the lead on all 3 issues.
What's the reason that you are finding so far that's driving this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about the center of the electorate, right? You win with independents, you win overall. And what do we see right here among independents? Republicans still have a point lead on the economy. They got a 10-point lead on immigration. They got a 21-point lead on crime. The bottom line is, when you look at these numbers, Democrats should call their offices, because at this particular point, even if Republicans, or even if the public doesn't like what Donald Trump is doing, they ain't necessarily liking what Democrats are doing. And it ain't just a referendum on one party. You actually have to go out and beat that party. At this particular point, Democrats are not able to beat Republicans. They still
and again, this isn't as Donald Trump came into office. These are numbers from this month.
These are numbers from September of 2020. We still find that the Republicans leading on all 3 of these issues. And of course, this economy will be the key. If Democrats are going to win, they're going to have to likely win on the economy. At this particular point among independents, you see that 1-point lead for Republicans. And overall, at least according to the Washington Post, they hold a 7-point lead on the economy overall as well.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Sarah.
All right, joining us now is former New Orleans mayor and former co-chair of the Harris-Walz presidential campaign, Mitch Landrieu. Thank you for being here. You just saw Harry dancing around those numbers.
He was head of the Kamala and Walz campaign. Head of the losing campaign. Let's see what the losing campaign leader has to say about this.
But there is nothing fun about them for Democrats. So it's an interesting conundrum. Trump is underwater in polling still. Republicans, though, largely pass what Trump demands. And still, Americans are saying on 3 really big issues that they trust Republicans to take care of it over Democrats. So what is the issue here? What do Democrats need to do?
Well, first of all, welcome back. It's great to see you again. And Harry set me up. You heard that allusion to the New Orleans Saints. He didn't have to do that because he knew I was here. It's unfair. In any event, I've been working on something called the Working Class Project, and our team has traveled. We've had 61 meetings in 21 states, and we're talking to working class folks, people that are making less than $90,000 a year. These are the folks who actually win or lose elections for people. And the fact of the matter is they don't really trust anybody. They don't trust Washington. They don't think Washington's getting anything done. Nobody really is in a positive zone. Those numbers are who's better than who's, but if you look at the overall numbers, as Harry said, there's a jump ball. And the number one thing that working class people think about is the economy, because they feel like there's been a covenant that has been broken with them, with the government of America, whether they're Republicans.
Really? It's crazy how y'all couldn't figure that out this past election. We got it all figured out now, huh, buddy?
The Democrats. And essentially the American dream, the promise is if you go to work and you work hard, you're going to get paid well. You're going to be able to put a roof over your head. You're going to be able to pay your rent. You're going to be able to take care of your kids. And by and large, because of the way you run everything with your family, your kids are going to have a better life than you. And most working class people think that that is out of reach, and they're really upset about it. So they're not happy with President Trump or the Republicans, but they're not happy with the Democrats either. So my advice to all of my friends that are running for office, whether you're on the red side or the blue side, and I'm on the blue side, is focus on the things that these people care about the most, because they feel like they're getting left behind. They feel like nobody cares about them. And right now they are under.
Is it me, or is it just difficult to stomach listening to one of these Democrats tell you how to win a race when they just ran arguably one of the worst political campaigns of all time and ran a weekend at Bernie's president? What are they getting paid for?
Water in terms of making ends meet, and they're not happy about it. And so that's that +1 number on the economy is actually a number that is attainable for us. The other two are more difficult. You got to focus on those things. You can be tough and smart on crime. You can believe that immigration is really an important issue, but you don't have to put people in a black hole without due process. There is absolutely a way, because as Harry said, it is a.
Hell yeah, Storm. He said, cough, cough, vote your interest.
Jump ball, but you have to pick it up and you have to put the ball in the hoop.
I do want to ask you about some of the things that we've been hearing from Donald Trump. He said in his speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial that he hates his opponents and does not want the best for them. But at the same time, Trump is also pushing the Department of Justice to go after his enemies, political enemies. What do you make of this? And should Democrats be afraid? Should they be concerned that there is this push? Outspoken, it's not in the shadows, he's saying it, and he wants Pam Bondi to do something about it.
Well, first of all, the assassination of Charlie Kirk was awful and unacceptable under any terms. There should be no political violence in the United States of America for anyone at any time for the things that they believe in. And of course, that memorial service was an opportunity for the country to start healing and coming back together. And there was a lot of prayer, there was a lot of thought about that. And actually, Charlie Kirk's wife,
all this healing and coming back together, like y'all doing all the shooting, and y'all they still ratchet it up, bro. Like I said, FBA black men, we ain't in the middle of this one, man. Let them have at it, man. I mean, it's official. Trump's signing an executive order going to declare Antifa a domestic terrorist group. And once he does that, all the gloves come off. Chrysler says, notice we didn't hear this when he was indicted on literally trumped up charges. Yeah, it's a whole fact, though.
Basically said, listen, we really have got to move into a new space. Unfortunately.
And she said she forgave his killer.
That is very consistent with the theory of the way we ought to be treating each other, as hard as that is. But President should bring the country together. He should not be speaking in the terms that he speaks of, and everybody in America should be concerned about that, whether you're a Republican, an Independent, or a Democrat. That is really not about party. That is about who we are as Americans and whether or not we think that we can peacefully coexist.
Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at.
Well, we are definitely not furries, bro. We're definitely not that. I don't think anybody wants to coexist with furries, homie. We're definitely not that. I know Trump just gave this big speech at the UN. And he came in kicking them in the nuts And they tried to play him too. They shut the escalator down on him and Melania on their way up. UN in New York. New York. Downtown Manhattan, the one he helped build. But shout out to Marco Rubio. He's turned out to be one hell of a Secretary of State. And he don't play around. He's a real pit bull. So let's watch Marco talk about Trump's UN speech with old Stephanopoulos.
Alaska. Since then, Putin has intensified his attacks on Ukraine. He's crossed into NATO airspace as well. The president has repeatedly threatened to take action, but repeatedly backed off those threats against President Putin. How much more time is he going to give him?
Well, I think he has taken action. So, for example, we've imposed additional tariffs on India, and they're a very close partner of ours. And we had meetings with them again yesterday, and it has to do with their purchase of Russian oil. In addition, we've worked very hard on and continue to work and made a lot of progress. Well, you look at the bill that Congress was considering, and on putting forward the Lindsey Graham bill, that bill was about tariffs on India and China for the purchase of oil and gas from Russia. I think the president has also called on Europe to step up to the plate. And, there are countries in Europe that are still buying massive amounts of natural gas and oil from Russia, in essence, directly fueling the war effort. The president has also instructed us, and we've made a lot of progress working on security guarantees. Shortly after the Alaska meeting, all of these leaders from Europe came to Washington. We agreed to work on security guarantees for the future of Ukraine after the end of this conflict. We've made a tremendous amount of progress in creating the outlines for that, and that's going to be essential in any negotiated.
It doesn't appear to be making any difference with President Putin.
Well, I think that's right, and in the sense that we continue to see the war being carried out, by the way, by both sides. The Ukrainians, to their credit, have also inflicted substantial damage on the Russians. So as an example, 20% of Russian refining capacity has been taken offline because of Ukrainian strikes. And I think the Ukrainians have been very brave and worked and done incredible things despite being a smaller country here, not just in defending their country, but in imposing costs on Russia. Look, at the end of the day, the only leader in the world that everyone agrees to this, no one did, and this is why Zelensky keeps wanting to meet with him and all the European leaders want to meet with him, is President Trump. He's the only one that can talk to both sides and try to make progress. He has dedicated a lot of time and energy to it. We hope to achieve it. He has expressed his deep disappointment at the direction this continues to go. He is well aware at this point of what our options are under his current authorities to impose more costs on Russia if they don't agree to peace. And that moment may arrive, but I hope it doesn't arrive, because I hope we still have time to convince them to end this war. The impact it's having, it's a stupid war. It really is. I mean, the Russians in July lost 20,000 soldiers were killed in action. 20,000, way out of ratio with what Ukraine has lost, and a staggering number. That this war needs to end. The president can do everything he can to end it, but at some point he'll have to take action if it doesn't.
You and others in the administration have said several times that no one has died because of the administration's cuts to humanitarian aid and the shuttering the Agency for International Development. A host of international aid organizations have disputed that. They've detailed how many lives have been lost. Also, Nick Kristof of the New York Times had an extensive piece in the New York Times on Sunday, firsthand reporting on the deaths being caused by the cuts in aid. And he went on to say this. I want to show a tweet he put up. He said, I also obtained an internal Trump administration memo stating that the cost of shutting down USAID is $6.4 billion over 2 years. That sum could save more than 1 million children's lives. Instead, it is being spent to shut down programs that saves lives. How do you account for that? How do you respond?
Well, that wasn't a memo. That was somebody who wrote an email giving their opinion internally. That is not an official document. That's someone who didn't agree with our decision. This is not about cutting aid. We're going to do aid.
It does cost money to shut down AID, doesn't it? That's a fact.
No, we didn't shut it down. We moved, well, a couple things. We shut down AID because it was a dysfunctional organization. We moved it under the State Department. Number two, we are going to do more foreign aid than any country in the world. We're going to do more than anyone in the world, again, this year. But we're going to do it the right way. We're going to do it holistically.
Yeah, you caught that? I told you, you pay attention. They're telling you right in our faces what they're going to do. Or at least what's coming. They're just not as unhinged as the left. Vance, Trump, Hexep Group, yeah, they've all, in one way or another, been saying on many platforms and in many interviews, especially after this Charlie Kirk thing, that the gloves are off. It's just not going to be the way you think it's going to be with all this boom and pomp and circumstances. No, they're going to walk them down slow.
We're going to do it as part of an integrated foreign policy. We are not going to fund an NGO industrial complex that built itself up, that was taking a substantial percentage of the money and not going directly to the recipient.
Yo, that's my little catchphrase, NGO industrial complex.
It was going to these organizations that had multi-billion-dollar projects and budgets. We're not going to continue to do it that way. We are going to provide aid. We're providing aid now. We just rolled out our new initiative on health. It's going to be much more successful and much more effective. We're going to enter into direct compacts with the countries. We're going to empower our embassies and our ambassadors to direct which projects we fund and how much money countries are going to be receiving. So we are restructuring the way we do aid. It's going to be far more effective, and it's going to be integrated into our holistic foreign policy.
That's all in the future. But are you standing by that comment? You're saying that no one has died?
No, it's happening now. That's
no
not in the
one,
future.
no one
It's
has died
now.
because of the
No.
aid cuts? Are all those aid organizations
That's
lying?
ridiculous. Well, first of all, then they died because England didn't give enough money, or Canada didn't give more, or China did. Let's blame the other countries that don't do any foreign aid. How about China? I mean, China's the second largest economy in the world. They don't give money to these
So you're no
projects.
longer
did people
disputing that
die
the
because
aid
China
cuts have
didn't give
cost
more
people's
money?
lives. You're no longer disputing that.
It didn't. I think anybody who tells you that somehow it's the United States, if we cut $1, somehow we're responsible for some horrific thing that's going on in the world is just not true. Beyond that, I would say that in some of these places
Well, if that
that they
dollar's
cite,
not going
the
to
reason why the
feeding
aid
someone
didn't
or
get
medicine,
there,
someone's
excuse
gonna
me, George,
die,
one
aren't
of the
they?
reasons why some of these places didn't get the aid is not because we cut the aid. It's because there's a war going on and the aid never got to the people. So in Sudan, for example, it's not just a humanitarian catastrophe, it's a war zone. Okay, the aid is stolen, the aid is impeded. In fact, they use aid as a tool against the people, and so blocking aid as a tool and an arm of war. So in some of these places, the reason why the aid isn't getting there is it can't be distributed. Look at Haiti. One of the reasons why aid can't be distributed in Haiti is you can send all the aid in the world you want. It gets hijacked and stolen by criminal gangs that control the country. And so they're the ones to blame for whatever happening there, not us who provided more aid than anybody else.
Let me just
to
try
Haiti,
one more
in
time. Are you
Africa,
standing
and
by
virtually
the
every part of the world?
Are you standing by your contention that
No one has died because the United States has cut aid? No. People have died because gangs steal the aid. People have died because the distributors of aid have not done well. People have died because other countries haven't stepped up. But the United States has saved more lives and continues to save more lives than any other country in the world. And we're going to continue to do it, but we're going to do it the right way and in a responsible way. We're not going to continue to pour billions of dollars out the door of American taxpayer funds for programs that don't work, and in some cases, were flat out corrupt.
Mr. Secretary, thanks for your time this morning.
Well played, Marco. Marco shows up every time. Let's do a from the desk of our editor at large segment. Saul sent me this article over. Let's go through it real quick. It's actually a good one. We got Dems jumping ship. Might be a nothing burger. This one is South Dakota Democratic lawmaker switches registration to Republican. I like that. To Republican. Where's my editor at large banner? Bang, there we go. South Dakota. Let's drag down. Let's see if Fox gave us an embedded video with it. Is this just headlines? Oh, these are headlines. I don't care about those. All right, South Dakota rep. Wait, is that a video? No video. Okay, close this. Perry Poirier, who has been a Democrat, announced Monday that she switched her voter registration to Republican. I have formally changed my voter registration from Democrat to Republican. My name will now appear with an R designation, she said in a statement. The move leaves just 5 Democrats in the Mount Rushmore state's House, compared to a whopping 65 Republicans. Poirier, who is Aglala Lakota, that's the Lakota Indians, suggested that the key pillars of the GOP line up with the principle of tribal sovereignty. Really? The core tenets of the Republican Party: decentralized government, self-determination, economic prosperity, lower energy costs, and strong public safety align with the principle of tribal sovereignty, she noted. By contrast, well-intentioned democratic reforms have too often undermined sovereignty. Under President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934 forced a one-size-fits-all model of governance that disregarded traditional systems and tied federal funding to this imposed framework. What was presented as empowerment ultimately diminished nationhood, reinforced federal control, and dilapidating any hope of self-sufficiency. Sounds like what's happening to the communità. The long-term consequences of such federal policy failures are still felt in the Pine Ridge Reservation today, she asserted. I'll tell you this. The Democrat Party apparently has become the party to flee. All right, bet. Let's do one more segment. Get out of here. We're at the 1 hour 32 minute mark. Let me share my screen. What do we got? Let's do a piece of this Brian Maxwell. Piece of my guy Brian Maxwell. Did I already open this? Yeah, let's do this one. Okay, let's see.
Oh my God, y'all, she is back. Kamala Harris has resurrected out of the hole she was in after that embarrassing loss against President Trump, when she had the full weight of the mainstream media, all of the publications, all of the newspapers, even foreign leaders, all lying for this woman. Now, she just recently wrote a book called 107 Days. And this book has stirred up all types of controversy because she has been dropping hidden jewels or secrets that weren't supposed to be out. And she's been blaming people. And the worst thing that she could have committed, being a left-wing radical extremist, I'm going to let you hear it in this video. It's going to blow your mind after the way Republicans have been browbeat over all of these. You're misogynistic, you're a this-and-this-stick, you're a this. Every single type of person there is out there, they'll say, if you're not in full alignment of everything that they want to say, do, have, and be, then you're a something-istic. Well, we've got the woman who was pushed on us to be the president of the United States, who was actually the vice president under the now we know dementia Joe Biden, where we have no idea who was running the country. Hunter was in on meetings. The head staffer was doing things. Jill Biden was heading cabinet meetings. It was an octopus effect of one of the worst administrations that we have ever had. So in this video, I want you to hear Kamala Harris on left-wing radical extremist Rachel Maddow's show be asked about her unique views on a certain gender of person in this country and why she was prejudiced against that, which is going to make the entire left-wing platform crumble because this was their front runner. And then after that, wait till you hear what Governor Shapiro, another left-wing extremist of the party, the governor of Pennsylvania, wait till you hear what he has to say. And then I'm going to end it all the coup de grace, what Jill Biden had to say. So let me get into it. Check out this clip of Rachel Maddow and Kamala Harris. Check this out.
That you say in the book really bluntly that your personal first choice for your running mate would have been Pete Buttigieg, and you praise him effusively. You say he would have been an ideal partner if I were a straight man. And you say effectively that demographically it was too much to ask of the American people to ask them to elect you with him as your running mate. I wonder if his reaction to that, since this part of the book has come out, if you've had any reflection on that, or I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a Black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay, it's hard to hear.
No, that's not what
Let me, before she gets into that, because here it comes. Now you just heard Rachel Maddow explain Kamala Harris's views. This is still her bigoted view of America. Let's just make that plain before she gets into whatever lies she's about to spew. That's a bigoted view where the Democrats love to hang it on gender and all of these ideological things, when in reality it's about, are you competent? Are you about the country? And will you help? Can you get things done? Not all this gender politics crap that has been sinking their party, but I'll digress.
I said that he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump, who knows no floor, to be a Black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate.
She's not Black, as we all know. She's still running with this BS narrative. She is Irish and Indian. She has not 1 ounce of Black blood in her body, but yet she's still trying to sell this lie to the American people. Sick of it.
A gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk. No matter how, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part, but we had such a short period of time. And the stakes were so high. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant. And I think America is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, and maybe I was being too cautious, I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that. Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made. And I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
With a great deal of sadness.
Thea says she only has Black on her when she's having an affair.
Let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
My nigga.
Yo, bruh, that's funny as hell. Reese said, I'm sure she got a furry on standby for that. Yo, that might be a joke, but yo, I don't put nothing past these. There's a lot of weird shit going on over on the leftist side, bro.
It's about also the fact that it might have been a risk.
Will you consider running in 2028?
That's not my focus right now.
Bold-faced lies. So as you just heard this woman say, oh, I didn't think it was a good thing. So she went and chose Tampon Tim Walz, who was putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms, legalizing child body mutilation. Who is the softest male? No man waves like this. Men don't wave like this. And if you have a man that's waving like that, you better start looking at him, because there's something.
Yo, this is Brian Maxwell. I'm gonna have the I usually have the links to all the video news segments I review in the description box, but that's the link to this video right here. I think he's got a huge subscriber base too. He's got let me see. What the hell? He's got okay, yeah, he's 244, 244K subscribers. He said, "Don't no man wave like this."
Something else going on there, because men don't say, hey guys. No, that's not how we do. He did more damage to the ticket. Pete Buttigieg being gay, and he still would have been ineffective, because look at what he did with the Department of Transportation. He was a mayor with no transportation experience who ran the Department of Transportation. Horrible. And then you put tampon Tim. This woman was the VP. They tried to sell us on this woman that she was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And as you heard, she did a whole bunch of word salad there in a roundabout way to say America is prejudiced. Period. And what does it say about her decision making? She chose tampon Tim. She didn't choose Shapiro because he was Jewish. And we're going to hear from him. She didn't choose Buttigieg because he was gay. So the party of identity politics was prejudiced against the own groups that they supposedly represent. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up. I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it does help push the video out there. And if you are subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're already subscribed or subscribing now, make sure that when you hit the notification bell that you select all. YouTube is struggling with getting notifications out, but when you hit all, YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. And I have never heard a Republican, and I may be wrong, I've never heard President Trump or any Republican make a decision based off gender or based off race. Now, if the best qualified just so happen to be white, so be it. If the best qualified just happen to be black or a woman or Hispanic, so be it. But as you see, the Republican Party's got a Ted Cruz, a Tim Scott, a Donald Trump. So we can't say there's not diversity, but forget about all the diversity. Like I've heard before, if your family member, your loved one is going to get heart surgery, no black person is walking in there and saying, is the surgeon black? I hope so. Nobody's saying that. If you're getting on a flight, you don't get on the flight saying, ooh, I hope my pilot's a woman or a person of color or a white guy. No, you say, I hope we got the best pilot. You don't care what color they are as long as they're skilled. Now, let's dig off into polls were recently released about Kamala Harris. Now, before I get into that poll, you just heard that word salad, but let's just make sure we remember, this is who we talking about, and check out this next poll. Look at this crap right here. And remember, this is what she said prior to what we're experiencing, the great effects we're experiencing now. And she was almost our president.
I don't think he pays attention to the details, and he can't be president of the United States
unless you pay attention to the details.
Yeah, that's fine if he wants to, just give speeches in random places for random reasons. But to talk about such significant policy like tariffs, much less foreign policy, he is applying a machete when a scalpel is what's necessary.
It makes no sense to me whatsoever. To me, I think Donald Trump is the Grinch that stole Christmas. This time next year, we're going to be thinking about Christmas presents for all of our kids. And if he puts a 60% tariff on everything from China, those prices.
Since when is Mark Cuban a serious political interview for a presidential candidate?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
The fix was in, bro.
Are going up. And now all of a sudden, your vision of everything you wanted to have for your kids at Christmas is gone. Donald Trump just crushed it.
Guess what? They were both wrong. We're having record-breaking times. The economy is doing better than it ever did when her and Dementia Joe was at the helm. But this is who we talking about. This is the woman who they tried to.
Dude said Dementia Joe.
Damn.
But as the president, can you imagine where we would be? And don't think she's not coming back in 2028 because she is. That's why she's making these rounds. They wouldn't have her on TV unless they wanted her on TV. Facts of the matter. Okay, now let's check out.
Yo, I see the Dems ain't never gonna live down that furry shit in this chat, bro. Theo Wop says, furry forever.
Oh, damn.
CNN polls, which have polled Democrats about Kamala Harris since she's just come back out from under her rock and is making her rounds. Check this out.
The revealing book about what happened after Biden's disastrous debate that ended his bid for president and started hers. Her new book, 107 Days, is out today. She talks about being hurt and disappointed by Biden. This morning, she sat for a new interview.
Part of the reason that I have written this book is for us to remember that there is somebody in the White House right now that made a whole lot of promises that were either about what would aggrandize and help him met out his vengeance, or about lies he told to the American people that he obviously never intended to keep.
Oh, damn.
All right, joining us now to discuss, or at least look at the numbers, because he is our chief data
guy,
correspondent,
analyst,
reporter,
whatever you want, Sarah.
Analyst, however I want to call you, or friend.
There we go.
Maybe,
I like that, chief
maybe
friend.
Today, we'll see. Harrington here. So how are our voters viewing Harris these days? And to be clear, this book has just come out. She's done an interview on NBC with Matt Al. She did an interview on Good Morning America. We're going to hear from her here today as well. What are people thinking about her as it starts coming?
Yeah, I would just say that if you want a messenger to go against Donald Trump, you can do far better as Democrats than Kamala Harris.
Yo, that's a good one. He said never go full Farrakhan.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Dems ain't never gonna live the liberals ain't never gonna live this furry shit down, bro.
So what are we talking about here?
I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Chapter. And here's why. When my mom hit 65 years at Chapter, the agent.
She's actually 2 points behind Gavin Newsom, though that's within the margin of error. But when you go from 20 points ahead of Gavin Newsom to 2 points behind, it's clear that Gavin Newsom is doing something the Democratic Party and the Democratic voters want, and Kamala Harris ain't doing that.
And this also, when you look at that number, like gives a lot of space to a lot of other people that might want to jump into the race. Let's talk about her home state, which is obviously a state that is a Democratic state. How are they feeling about Kamala Harris?
Yeah, okay, so voters nationwide ain't liking what they're seeing from Kamala Harris. Democrats are far more open to other options for 2028. But how about in the home state? Well, it pretty much says the exact same story. Californians on Harris's runs for president. Back in 2024, she got 58% of that vote. Now, only 42% of Californians are excited for another run for Kamala Harris for president. So no matter where you look, whether you look nationally among voters overall, nationally with Democrats, or within her home state, Kamala Harris's political standing has fallen. Now, obviously, we'll see whether or not this book has any big changes. But at this particular point, Kamala Harris's political career, time seems to be running out on.
Yeah, I mean, she's been pretty quiet, and now.
So as you heard, in her home state, you got 42% of some deranged people that are excited. And I don't believe that number. I actually think it's way lower than that. Or you got to look at how they asked the question. But as you can see, even her base is no longer supporting her. Now, I want to listen to Governor Shapiro, the man that she passed over because allegedly he was Jewish. He went on the Stephen A. Smith show and check out what he had to say. And he had been a supporter of Kamala Harris until she snaked him in her book, saying that she felt like he was too power hungry. Check out his response.
Stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision. We hear something like that. The question some folks will want me to ask you is she right? My question would be, why didn't you say that before?
Right.
That's what I would be thinking. Right. That's the question that comes to my mind as a voter. How should we feel when we hear something that we suspected but wasn't acknowledged by politicians who were looking for our support? And then we find out later we were right and they should have spoken up and they should have shown more courage. What do you say to that?
I mean, look, I haven't read the former vice president's book, and she's going to have to answer to how she was in the room and yet never said anything publicly. I can tell you that I wasn't in the room, but when I was confronted with engagement with the former president, in looking at it simply from the perspective of how's he doing in Pennsylvania? Could he win Pennsylvania? Because I think, Stephen, you understand, if you can't win Pennsylvania, it's pretty darn hard to win the national election. And I was very vocal with him privately and extremely vocal with his staff about my concerns about his fitness to be able to run for another term. I was direct with them. I told them my concerns.
So as you see, Shapiro, she's going to have to answer for her being in the room and not saying anything. And there's more things that he said. But here's the coup de grace. The coup de grace is the fact that Jill Biden and Joe Biden feel betrayed by Kamala. Check out Jesse Waters. He reports on it.
Kamala is selling out her friends to sell her new book. And there's no coming back from this. Kamala is going after the first lady, Jill Biden. Remember when Jill kissed Doug at the State of the Union?
Now, I got to stop it there. I remember that. Tell me that that's not the weirdest thing in the world. If you're in a relationship with somebody, what would you do if when you went and greeted your coworker, if your significant other, is greeting their coworker, and you saw them kiss the spouse of the two spouses of the coworkers kissing? So if you're with your spouse, somebody else is with theirs, the two people working together are greeting, and the two spouses are kissing on the mouth. That happened. That is weird. That is strange. There's something more going on there. That is nuts. I remember that. At the State of the Union, too.
Well, the doctor pulled Doug aside.
Yeah, that is gross. That is gross. Dougie was like, give me that bag of bones. Jill was out there throwing that dry box around, bro. while old boy Biden was on his weekend at Bernie's joint. He said furble.
Oh, damn.
All All right, hold on. Let's get this last piece to get up out
on
of
the
here.
4th. Doug thought he was getting another kiss. Instead, he got threatened. Jill Biden said, "Are you supporting us?" Doug responded, of course we're supporting you. Okay, that's really important. We need to know that. Doug got angry, and you won't like him very much when he's angry. He complained to his wife, quote, "They hide you away for 4 years, give you impossible bleep jobs, don't correct the record when those tasks are mischaracterized, and still they have to ask if we're loyal." Kamala regrets not throwing Biden under her electric bus earlier. She said this moment was like pulling the pin on a hand grenade. Watch.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Kamala tried being graceful, and it killed her campaign. Biden, he was bitter. He threatened Kamala on the night of her debate. And then the day after, put on a Trump hat. Kamala.
Excellent. So in case any of you guys are confused, here's a 15-second explanation of Kamala Harris's rise in the political arena and how basically all of her job appointments and interviews went.
I want you to give me a snake cup.
I'll give you a snake cup,
Please?
young lady. Yeah.
Oh, dirty man. Dirty Craig. Dirty Craig.
I am not dirty. I said I'd give you a snake cup and you will receive one and you will enjoy it.
Bet I will.
All right, so for anybody who missed it, yo, what up, Saul? We in the building. He said fertile. Yeah, the Dems ain't never gonna live there. All right, guys, that's my time for the evening, man. Thanks for coming, hanging out. Salute to Quiet Storm for the Cash App. Appreciate you, bro. Support the stream. We'll be back at it tomorrow, Thursday. I just confirmed with Obsidian. We're on for Thursday, 10:30. We're going to be talking about some H-1B visas as well. He said he wanted to do a follow-up conversation on that. So you know how we do Thursday. Once again, man, that's a wrap. Let's play some clips and get the hell up out of here, man. Appreciate you guys. And like I always say about now, good night and good luck.
I don't even think to call me Godfather. You said you'd come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you asked me to do murder.
Mad liberator, death operator, rock the data, amazing flavor.
I don't even think to call me Godfather. You said you'd come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you asked me to do murder.
Mad liberator, death operator, rock the data, amazing flavor.
I don't even think to call me Godfather. You said you'd come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you asked me to do murder.
Mad liberator, death operator, rock the data, amazing flavor.
I don't even.
Every man walking this planet who's having a baby should have a DNA test. I don't give a damn if you're married. I don't give a damn how mad your wife gonna be for asking her. It's not about her. It's about your own protection. If you're dealing with a woman who's opposed to it, it already lets you know the caliber of woman that you're dealing with. I have a son. You goddamn right I got a DNA test on mine and we were married. Was she upset? Yes. Did she get over it? Yes. Would I ever get over the thought of me raising another man's son? No. Fuck that. I'll be damned. Oh man, I'm thinking this kid's not mine, but if I ask her for a DNA test, man, I think she's gonna be mad. Man the fuck up. Every man should have a DNA test for every single child that he has. Every man walking this.
Sorry.
Hey, where's Stewie?
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.